Hello and welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you and published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the world. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment on this article, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell. This week's article is Brotherhood in the City of Brotherly Love. The Masonic Travelers Go to Philadelphia by Brother Maynard Edwards, 33rd degree, read by Brother Matt Bowers, 32nd degree, and comes from the January-February 2026 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. As we enter this 250th anniversary year of the birth of the United States of America, naturally Philadelphia will become the epicenter of much celebration. It was, after all, in the city of Philadelphia where our founding fathers decided the destiny of America was to be its own country, separate and independent from British rule. The city of brotherly love was a hotbed not only of revolutionary thought, but also of early American Masonic activity. Last fall, several Masonic travelers made their way from the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C. to historic Philadelphia to explore several important Masonic and non-Masonic sites, some well-known, others lesser known, but of Masonic significance. The old Pennsylvania State House, now known as Independence Hall, is a must-see site for not only every Freemason, but also every American. In this hallowed hall, the Second Continental Congress voted for total independence from Britain on July 2, 1776, after several weeks of deliberation. On July 4th, the Congress approved the final language of the Declaration of Independence. The final version was then signed by most of the 56 delegates, including 9 known Freemasons, on August 2nd. 12 years later, the old State House would become the most important building in the country as George Washington presided over the Constitutional Convention, which would finalize the form of our republic. With its iconic crack, the old State House bell, known worldwide as the Liberty Bell, originally hung in the Independence Hall steeple. As with many historic relics, its true story is the subject of many legends, and thus it may, or may not, have been rung in July 1776 to signal independence. Masonic tradition informs us that John Pass and John Stowe, the two Philadelphia metalworkers who recast the bell after it first cracked in 1752, were also Masons, though sound evidence of their membership is lacking. Christ Church Burial Ground. Only a short walk from both Independence Hall and Liberty Bell Plaza, this is the final resting place of several signers of the Declaration of Independence, including brothers Benjamin Franklin and Joseph Hughes. Visitors are given a map of some of the significant graves, and on-site tour guides are helpful and knowledgeable. It is more than worthwhile to stop and pay your respects to the founding fathers and brothers at rest there. Christ Church. The old Episcopal Church, a 10-minute walk from some of the earlier mentioned sites, is full of revolutionary and Masonic significance. The church counted Benjamin Franklin and 14 other signers of the Declaration of Independence in its congregation, and George Washington was in regular attendance during his time in Philadelphia. It was at Christ Church on St. John the Evangelist's Day in 1778 that Washington was the guest of honor at a celebration hosted by the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. This was one of his very few documented Masonic activities. Tip: if you pay a small fee to visit the burial ground, there is a discount for a fee to tour the church, and vice versa. Lodge Alley, an alley on 2nd Street between Chestnut and Walnut Street, led to the first purpose-built Masonic lodge in Philadelphia. While the building is long gone, it is fun to imagine our forebrothers walking these streets. It is also only steps away from the Museum of the American Revolution, an admirable modern museum and worth the price of admission. Franklin Court. This small complex about 3 blocks away from Independence Hall was the site of Brother Ben's home, print shop, and other businesses. Though the structures no longer exist, there are ghost structures there giving visitors an idea of what Franklin's home and workplace may have been like. For Masons, it allows us to stand in the space where Brother Ben laid out and printed his version of Anderson's Constitutions, the first Masonic publication in the Americas. The Franklin Museum is also at this complex, where we were obliged to save for a return visit. Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. Though the ornate and imposing building at 33 North Broad Street was not built until 1873, almost 100 years after our Revolutionary War brothers strolled the streets of Philadelphia, the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania is an essential place for every Freemason to visit. With numerous and grandly decorated lodge rooms and museum and library exhibits, as well as thousands of artifacts on display, this building alone is worth the trip to Philadelphia. Out front, there is a sculpture of brothers Washington and Franklin together that is a Masonic selfie must. Here, as elsewhere in Philadelphia, be forewarned to check the hours and tour schedules before planning your trip, as many sites have odd hours and close for private events. Honorable mentions. Our first Scottish Rite Grand Commander, Colonel John Mitchell, lived at a house on Front Street, now First Street, near Chestnut. His home was steps away from the famed Tun Tavern, birthplace of the Marine Corps and home of many meeting of St. John's Lodge, Mother Lodge to Ben Franklin. Though neither building survives, for a true Masonic history buff, it is worth the one-block walk from Lodge Alley. The Betsy Ross House is a historical asterisk, since it may not have been her house. She may not be buried in the yard, and, contrary to popular legend, she may not have sewn Washington's flag. Yet, it is a quaint museum space with a shaded sitting area out front, ideal when you need a break from walking. These sites are merely the beginning of the historical, cultural, and Masonic adventures that can be found in Philadelphia. Be sure to stay tuned to our YouTube channel for videos on this trip and keep informed of countless special events and opportunities to celebrate American history this year.